Bernie Sanders has he's been releasing some pretty solid ads leading into the Iowa caucus. Here's a few of them.
Spent my entire political life fighting for those people who do not have the wealth and the power, trying to do what's right. And that's really what it's about.
This is our nation, and we're not going to let a handful of corporations take it away from us.
Stop the war effort. Stop the military machine. We want decent education for our kids.
We can create a society where all people can have the health care that they need. Protecting our environment gives us the opportunity to create millions of new, decent-paying, productive jobs. We want the millionaires and the multinational corporations who have not been paying their fair share of taxes to start paying. If we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Let us go forward together. Thank you.
For 100 years, presidents have talked about the need to guarantee health care for all.
I've repeatedly asked the Congress to pass a health program. We are behind every country pretty nearly in Europe in this matter of medical care for our citizens.
Health care is not just a privilege, but a right for every single American.
Now is the time to take on the greed of the healthcare industry and finally pass Medicare for all. I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message.
I literally just talked about that on the show the other day. People who watch this show regularly will know that I was like, they should do an ad where they have JFK talking about how we need universal health care. And then they cut an ad with JFK talking about universal health care, but they did one better. Actually, two better, because they also had Truman in there, and then they threw Obama in there as well. Now, listen, you're really educated on politics. I am too, so when we talk about this, you all know that Obama gave away the farm in that negotiation. It's true. It is what it is. He went from, saying, hey, if we started from scratch, single-payer Medicare for all is the way to go. And then he caved to, well, let's fight for a public option. And then it took like 2.5 minutes for him to be like, okay, let's do Mitt Romney's idea. Let's do that. Let's do an individual mandate system. So there's criticism there of Obama, but what he said in that clip is true. Yeah, healthcare should be a right, not a privilege. Agreed. That's why we need Medicare for all. But what Bernie's doing here is smart. He's basically using Obama's words to bolster his own argument. Now, if you talk to Obama, he'll be like, no, the furthest I'd go is public option, because Obama's a centrist neoliberal. But it's smart of him to kind of use the legacy to push for the proper policy. I think that's really intelligent because Obama actually has a very high approval rating for a former president at this moment. Now, we can get into why that is. That's a long conversation. I do think that to some extent people could separate the person from the policies, or they do that. You could argue that it's not smart to do that, but people do that. But yeah, anyway, we don't need to have that long conversation right now. Bottom line is, Bernie is using the legacy of former Democratic presidents to say, hey, let's do single-payer Medicare for all. I love it. I love it. And that's when Democrats win. Democrats win when they have people saying, yes, we can do it, and we are going to try our darndest to do it. They don't win when they go Amy Klobuchar style, and it's like, no, I don't think we could do it. Let's be serious. What? What? Why don't you run in the Republican Party? Their message is like, let's change nothing or not much at all. Like, oh, wow, very, inspiring. And then the first ads, wow. Or the first ad, I should say. That was a great one because that shows him throughout the years saying the same amazing stuff. You see him, he starts with end corruption, then stop the wars, then universal health care, then jobs bill, then raise taxes on corporations and the rich, and it's him throughout the years. Oh, I love that. And people are going to look at that and be like, wow, he's really been about this life for a long time, hasn't he? Funniest thing, man, and this happened just this week. Jonathan Chait, who I like, I always used to call him Jonathan Chait, and I like Chait better. So I think I'm going to go with that. Even though that's not how you say it. But Jonathan Chait, Chait, whatever. That dude, he's goofy centrist, of course, but he was, oh, no. Was it him or was it, what's his face? I'm blanking. What's his name? There's a neocon dude, not Jonathan Chait. There's the Max Boot. It came to me, yes. It was either Max Boot or Jonathan Chait. One of them wrote an article, and they were like, Bernie talks about his consistency, but one could argue that's actually a detriment. It's a bad thing. What? Yeah, he's been saying the same thing for decades, which means he hasn't grown. Bro. Come on, bro. Come on. You don't even think that what you're saying is convincing. Who says that? Like, what do you want? Somebody who's been, like, spot on his entire career and saying the same thing? Or would you rather have somebody who hasn't been saying the same thing all this time? It's like, yeah, he was never really wrong about much, so we didn't need to evolve. You've been wrong about stuff, so you're in a position where you have to evolve. But they don't. They don't even evolve, but they, like, pretend they evolve. But anyway, I digress from that. Bottom line is, they're actually trying to flip this on him as if it's a negative. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. They're helping Bernie. I told you guys the other day, when we got that round of polls like last week or 2 weeks ago, that was like, Bernie's doing really well. I was like, okay, here we go. Buckle up. Because they're finally realized, oh my God, Iowa's just about to happen. He could win. He could win this race. So the establishment realized that. And what did they do? They're like, okay, all systems go. Got to attack him all out. So what did we get? What was their big anti-Bernie takedown? An article in the Washington Post, an article in the New York Times about Bernie bros. They were like, man, his supporters are so mean online. You guys don't even really get it. Like, my mentions are a mess. Whoop-de-freaking-do, bro. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your menchies. Nobody cares. By the way, what a criticism. It's like, he's got a really passionate base of online supporters. It's terrible. Oh, you mean like that thing that Trump had that he also won with? Yeah, Bernie's got that thing that like leads to victory, but so stupid. The other point they like making is, man, oh my God, polls show that a lot of Bernie supporters wouldn't vote for the other Democrats in a general election. But wait a second, isn't that... You guys always make that argument as a good thing for other candidates. Like, well, I mean, come on, if that's why you got to vote for Hillary, because what you have to beat Trump. And so, if people are going to vote for Hillary in the primary and then not vote in the general, that's more reason to vote for Hillary. So they make that argument as a positive for other candidates, but for Bernie, oh no, it's a negative. No, by your own logic, if beating Trump is the most important thing, well, then you should vote for Bernie, because then we'll beat Trump, because the whole coalition will stay together. If you don't vote for Bernie, you vote for somebody else. Yeah, many Bernie supporters won't vote for that other Democrat. Whose problem is that? That's the other Democrats' problem. They fucked up. It's not the supporters. What, are you going to voter shame your way into victory? It's not going to happen. So by your own argument, you should be voting for Bernie. See, this is what I mean. Like, all the things they say, they're not thought out. They're just like, I don't know, Bernie bros are mean, something Venezuela, big government bad. They got nothing on them. They got nothing. It's just, the problem is, there's a narrative of like, oh my God, the establishment Democrats, they're nefarious, backroom, bad actors. That's true. But also, there's another piece of that recipe. And the other piece of that recipe is, they're fucking idiots. They're totally incompetent. They're morons. So it's not just like nefarious backroom conspiracies. It's like that mixed with the dumbest people on the planet who are wrong about everything. So that's the positive part for Bernie, is that of course they all want to sabotage him and they all want to take him down. But if they keep going at the clip that they're going right now and using the arguments they're using now, good luck, biznitch. It ain't going to work. So anyway, those ads are great. And, get ready, because it's about to happen. Keep fighting, man. Keep fighting. Stay involved, because we got to get this dude over the finish line. It is super important for the fate of the country.